Hey guys, Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews. Well, we just got in two of the Dewalt 20 volt max 8-inch pole saws. I ordered one for Zach as well, got one for myself. Upgrading pole saws, we get into summer here. Zach's got a lot of palm trees that he trims. I got a lot of just regular oak trees, a couple random other trees on my property that I trim as well. So I'm gonna get mine popped open here and we'll see what's inside. Alright, just cutting the top of the box here open. And we'll see what we got inside here. Alright, some random cardboard here. And I believe this comes in 3 total pieces. And it's my personal opinion on this. I really like having a standalone pole saw here. I know other brands make one that come with the attachments, but I'm not a huge fan of the attachments. I like having the motor up top and just having the electrical connections run through the bar. Not a fan of really having some of the cables or whatever type of lines they use to run that power through these saws. In my opinion, and they're generally cheaper as standalone too. So I've always been a huge fan of that. Alright, so here we got the handle. And I have heard complaints about this handle where you got this little flip thing. So it's kind of a motion where you do one of these to hold it down. But this is probably easily modifiable to remove this piece here. So not a huge deal there. But it looks like I got all 3 pieces here. And let's see what else is in here. Probably the manual's actually going to be on the other side. Let's scoot that down. Alright, let's pop the other side open. Looks like there's possibly something else on the other side here. I actually just picked this up from CPO Tools a couple days ago, actually about 2 days ago. And yeah, looks like that's it. Nothing else here in the box, alright. Didn't see a manual or anything in there. It's kind of odd, but oh well, don't really need it. Pretty self-explanatory with the pole saw. Alright guys, I want to show you how easy this actually goes together. So I've got the arrow here, I've got an arrow here, and you can just attach it like that. Now flip it over, and this one will come down. Just screw that on, and there you go. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty similar to that Ryobi one that I just had. I had the Ryobi 40 volt before this. And, you know, honestly, the only reason I sold my Ryobi, bought the Dewalt, was that I just didn't want to keep buying more of the Ryobi 40 volt batteries. I only had one 4 amp hour. Lasted tons of time, but I got a ton of Dewalt batteries, and this was actually a fantastic deal. About 130 bucks shipped to my door right now from CPO, so had to take that deal. And I was also able to sell my Ryobi for about 100 bucks on Facebook, so not bad for an upgrade here for pretty cheap. We gotta have a ton of batteries ready to go for it. So let's take this thing outside and see how it does. Alright guys, just going to show you a 2x4 cutting with this Dewalt pole saw here. Let's find out how well this thing cuts through here, and of course this is going to be a test that I can easily replicate in the future as well. Of course, as you know, every tree is going to be different, every limb is going to be different. So let's see how this thing cuts through some 2x4. That is pretty nice there. I like how this the bar here really helps pull that thing in. So when that saw is pulling this in really hard, you can just put that right up against that limb there and it'll go right through it. I'm not really pulling down on the saw at all. I'm just kind of letting it do its thing, and it is really nice. One thing to remember too with any type of chainsaw or pole saw, after the first few times you use this, make sure to adjust the the chain tension here, as any new chain will loosen up just a little bit when you first use it, and it'll become a little bit sloppy, a little bit loose there. So make sure you check that out a couple times after you use it. But other than that, definitely gonna have to use this pole saw for a little bit to really give it a rating here on what we think about it exactly. But so far out of the box, for about 130 bucks shipped, I'm pretty impressed with this pole saw. Seems like it's really high quality, and definitely like it so far. Also a reminder guys, if you've never used a chain or a pole saw before, or a chainsaw, remember about the bar and chain oil. Bar and chain's available pretty much anywhere. and easy enough to use. Make sure you always keep this thing full. Keeps the bar and chain here lubricated and as well as cool when you're using it. Especially on pole saws, you want to make sure you use them because these things can heat up a lot, these smaller bars and chains. You don't want this chain flying off. You want to make sure it stays and it'll last as long as possible. Alright guys, I want to show you how long this chainsaw is in total. It seems like it's really hard to find information about how long a pole saw is total. So I've got tape measure sitting right at the tip of the bar there. And it comes all the way down here with a 4 amp hour battery on, so about the same size as a 5 amp hour as well. Sitting right here at about 121.5 there. So total length is right there around just over 10 feet. But actually usable there. If you're a 6-foot person, you can probably easily get about 15 feet of reach here, no problem. Alright guys, we got that thing opened up, and so here it is all laid out. This is fully disassembled here, how it comes out of the box. Now I want to show off some really cool things about this pole saw. These are all aluminum, and they are quite strong, and they are really light. I'm actually really impressed with how light this saw is. Of course, all your weight is going to be right up on the top there, because that's where your motor, your oil reservoir is all sitting. And down here, this is actually really light too. So you slap your battery in here, your battery is definitely going to be almost a bit heavier than this entirely. I do like this layout. Only thing I don't like is I definitely agree with a lot of reviewers that this is kind of annoying, this switch here where you got to slide down and then pull. I'm probably going to just end up removing this anyways. It just seems like an unnecessary two-step safety. I like just having the regular one trigger and then pull. But other than that, really nice little grip area right here. That is really cool. So this is a nice piece of a little bit of rubberized material here. Really like that. These go together really easily, and of course you can see it's just a 4-pin electrical connection in there. And one thing I did notice too that's kind of neat is, of course, with the blade cover, you got your tool here for making adjustments. That's really nice to have. Some guys, they may lose these, of course, and then they lose your tool as well, but what can you do? It's not too big of a deal. These tools are everywhere, and just, Dewalt's decision there was kind of interesting. Most of the time, I don't even carry these with me. If I'm using the tool, I'm just going to have it, pull this off, throw it in my truck, and I'm going to go. But that's still not a terrible option there. Moving over to the head, of course. I don't know if it's just me, but every Dewalt pole saw chainsaw I've ever owned always seems to have a lot of oil coming out all the time. So that's just, I don't know if that's just me. This is after all those test cuts you saw. And I used a little bit on the side of my house quick, and this is just all the oil that's come out so far. That cap is on tight. No oil is coming out from this cap area at all, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, definitely make sure you keep it, on some cloth, something like that to catch all the oil. And I mentioned earlier, but, of course, make sure you adjust your chain if you're using it a couple times. This is after using it for about 5 minutes total. So that's totally normal there. Just make sure you adjust your chain tension after using a new chain. And that's just, common. Any chainsaw, any pole saw will do that. Other than that, for the price, this is an excellent deal from CPO right now for about $130 shipped. Overall, fantastic deal for a pole saw. I actually sold my Ryobi 40 volt pole saw. Got about $100 for it on Facebook, and I looked to go to the Dewalt because I just have a ton of 20 volt Dewalt batteries. Didn't want to buy more Ryobi 40 volt batteries. Didn't really have a lot of tools in that line that I actually needed. But I would say the Ryobi is also an excellent saw. I would say it's a bit heavier than this Dewalt. Definitely noticed using it between the two, but it was quite a bit cheaper as well. But if you do already have the batteries for Dewalt, this saw is actually a fantastic deal right now. And there's not actually that much plastic on this saw either, especially up with the head here. It is all metal up here. This is plastic, but lots of metal up here. Really good design by Dewalt here. So overall, for the price, it's a fantastic deal for a pole saw. And if you like the dedicated tools like I do, I definitely like these kind of styles. But if you're a fan of the, the attachments that Milwaukee and Makita have, they have some great options as well. But you won't get as good a deal as you will find, like this DeWalt. But other than that, guys, leave a comment below what you guys think, and we'll do some more testing on this saw and probably get back to another video or see you in the future. So take care, guys.